Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com, powered by lineups.com. Nate and Josh coming back to you guys here with game 4, still in Indiana for this one. Pacers up 2-1, 9-point victory. Game went under in game 3 as well, but we're going to be taking a look at some best bets here. We got player props, a few breakdowns of the series in general. So we're looking at some series prices as they stand now going into game 4 for you guys. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel. Continue to follow along with us for the rest of these finals. Going to be coming back to you with an episode for each and every game that we have. Hopefully 7, because it's been pretty good so far. But let's get into some series talk, Nate. Talk about what you're looking at first here, and then we'll get into some of these bets and player props.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we're having 7? Basically, that's my question to you, because looking at these series markets, it is a pretty good price for this to go 7. I mean, for the Thunder to win game 4 and then the Pacer to win the series is the most interesting kind of game series double. That's plus 650. It's also plus 650 for Tyrese Halliburton to have a triple double at any point when he just missed one by one rebound here in game 3. So any of those strike your fancy. I mean, there's also the series double of Thunder win game 4, and then they don't have to win again on the road, and they win this thing. And if you bet that and you bet it to go 7, then you could definitely be in some plus money. I think it's minus 140 for the Thunder to handle business here, and then for the pivotal game 4 to lead them then to the series win.
Yeah, so going 7 would at least look like probably a Thunder win in game 4. Obviously, that's why you get so much better juice there if you take this thing to sort of, the inverse correlation of like the Thunder to lose, but this next game, but to win the series. That would be insane. Obviously down 3-1. But anything to that effect, I think this is going to be a little chalkier than that. I don't see them losing this next game, but it's going to be close. And far be it from me to bet against the Pacers. I feel more comfortable, way more comfortable betting the Pacers in any fashion plus money at this point for the rest of this series, whether it's to win the series at nearly 2-1, which is actually available on a few books at about round 2-1 or even a little bit better, like plus 210. It's hovering around 2-1. I think I would rather have that than the Thunder to come back and win win 3 of these next four games or so that they would need essentially, and then take that at minus 220 and have to pay extra for that. I'm not there with it. If you look at the way that the Pacers have won these games, they're winning threes, they're winning the rebounds, they're winning the paint. I mean, that's pretty crucial to winning here in the finals and in the playoffs in general. You're hitting a better, not even necessarily a better 3-point percentage, just the volume stays really high. In this last game, the Thunder shot 45% from 3, but they took 22 of them. The Pacers are getting more volume. That's in line with what we were talking about ahead of game 3 is like, I was ready to fade Hallie. You helped me take a step back and go like, nah, man, like there's got to be this conversation that we've seen happen in the past in Indiana where they go, yo, Hallie, quit being a part of the team and start pulling the ball a lot more. Took 4 more shots, got a few more threes up, especially, which was huge. And that's just going to continue to propel them, I think, to being able to keep all these games close. So as far as the series to go 7, yeah, I'm there with it. I think it's at least going I think it's going to be going close to 7 in this one. Certainly going to be going 6 at this point if the Thunder can keep close. So yeah, I lean towards still believing that what we've seen is not a fluke and that the Pacers are able to hang around in this thing and keep it close. And that's the way I'd be betting it.
Yeah, I mean, I already planted my flag on Thunder to win this thing in 6, and it's not looking good. So I have to now, along with every other analyst, basically just be like, I tip my cap and call the Pacers my daddy. And that's where we get to pick one here, which is, I mean, it's pretty low team total for the second half for the Pacers here, 55. They did not get that in game 3 because, as you mentioned, they actually got outshot from 3, despite, I think, definitely winning the shot quality battle. I mean, Lou Dort just hitting threes with guys in his face. Pacers couldn't hit an open one. Miles Turner couldn't hit anything. And they wind up going 4 for 14 from 3 in the second half. They were 30% with at least 4 feet of space on those open threes. And so, I mean, 2 different scenarios, right? Either it's a close game and they do have more success offensively, or they're coming from behind, which in games 1 and 2, they scored 66 in both of those, right? And in the 7 of the last 10, they've at least gotten this total in the playoffs. They've averaged 59. The pace is a little slower in the second half, as you expect in any playoff game. But even with these teams are number 1 and number 2 in pace. So among the teams that slow down, they slow down the least. Indy slows down a little less at home. They're still relatively fast, especially if they're going to play TJ and Benny Matz, and Obi Toppin. Like, don't leave him out there as far as just playing with with verve and pace in the half court and keeping that thing moving. And you think like, oh, they score more in the second half because Hallie woke up and started shooting better. He's actually shooting way better in the first half in this series. It's just he's getting more shots up in the second half. And what that tells you is that their offense as a whole is a better ecosystem, right? I mean, he's getting these seams OKC is wearing down. He's getting other guys shots. So I think that they're going to be able to get their points up, and that this is one of the safer bets in terms of the Thunder might come out with that defensive intensity, but I don't know if they can maintain it enough to just shut the Pacers down in the entire second half.
No, not at all. And I'm actually surprised that you didn't bring up a little bit more of just not that you bring it up, but make the connection that playing fast, playing Obi, McConnell, Benny Mathurin, everything is just going to lead to them continuing to look way better the longer a game goes on, which you hinted towards. But I want to make that super concrete point because it's very much so a part of my cap for my bet here, which is them to cover the 6.5 here. Just keeping it to the point that we're making right now, which is like the second half, which is huge, as we know. Now, interestingly, the first quarter, third quarter, that's where OKC's done really well. And that was the case in this last game as well. OKC outscoring them by what was it? They basically got outscored them in the first and third quarters combined for some really nice numbers by 17. Indy, second and fourth quarters, 26, plus 26 in those two quarters. That would indicate strongly what we're saying here is like, all right, the Thunder come out, they've got energy in the first half. They haven't started the game yet. The first quarter, rather, they go all in. By the time you get to the backups and you get to the bench, we're talking way big advantage here for Indy, not just because of who's on their bench and how they play, but also because of the fact that they're fresh legs, much fresher legs. Then the third quarter, all right, you got halftime. Everybody's a little bit more equally rested. You come out the third quarter, you look good. You can't rely on like 2-3 guys when you've got 7 of them coming at you in a flurry for the Pacers, and really like 9 of them. Ben Shepherd's getting minutes in the second quarter. It's not just like these guys are getting garbage time. I think that's a huge part of the cap. The other thing here is like in this last game, fast break points, Indy won by 7. And the paint points, they're winning by 2 in this last game. Hanging around and winning the paint points is so big. That's what their goal is to get into the second layer of the defense before the Thunder can really retract back to the basket and pack the paint the way that they want to. And that's how you get Halliburton throwing up floaters. It's a big part of how you get Pascal beneath the defense if they do want to double team up top. Pascal and company and Benedict Mathurin as well. Even Obi are not scared to take the ball off of that pass out of the double team and go right to the rim. And that's been huge. And I was talking about Benedict Mathurin being a huge part of that. I still can't tell you if he's going to get 20 minutes in a game. I really, because a lot of this has led towards he's shooting well in the last 2, so he's gotten to the 22-minute mark. One game was a blowout, so he got the garbage time minutes. In this last game, you can't take him out at that point once he's shooting 9 for 12 from the field, making all of his free throws. But the biggest part about me liking him on the floor is he's the only other dude getting to the free throw line besides like Pascal a lot, right? Like nobody else is really attacking the rim with that level of ferocity. Halliburton's not allowed to because he's going to see 3 dudes before he gets, all the way into the paint for the most part. And then Nembhard has looked so insanely passive. It's like upsetting because he's actually way better than I think that he thinks that he is. And I'm a way bigger supporter of him than he might be of himself at this point. So with all of that in mind, it does lead to more aggressive guys being on the floor like Obi, like Benedict Mathurin. And it's like the backup running back coming in, dude, after like Lendale White has bruised you to death. And then you bring on CJ2K as the speedster in the backfield, or the Thunder and Lightning with Ron Dane. I got endless amounts of these examples. That's kind of what Obi and company are coming in later in the game.
Yeah, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, for those who are not 35 plus like Josh and myself. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. But yeah, the Pacers, I mean, this is an interesting one because if you're talking about Pacers to win the series, it's like, why not just start hammering these spreads and money lines? Because they're still getting no respect really from the book to say +6, or, they're probably close to the same on the money line for this one as they are for the series. And then if you double it, it's +350 for them to win game 4 and then not lose 3 straight. So, I mean, either way, there's ways to like multiply this if you really want to double down and be part of the yes sirs. But yeah, you mentioned Nemby, and we're not going to fade his points. That would be sacrilege on this program, but we are going to fade the RA because, like you said, I mean, kind of passive, but also kind of just preserving himself for his defensive assignment, right? Is why we haven't seen much production in other areas, and certainly not in the assists lately. He's kind of been lucky to have 2.5 assists on 4 potentials in the last 2, because if you see like where he is on the floor, he's just kind of like the wheel around which they run a weave at the top of the key, and it's just like
Right.
he's not doing anything that would earn an assist per se. He's not getting in there. Like his drives are way down, down to fifth in drives on the team, and Benny Mass just hopped right over him, even in his limited minutes, right? So that's just going to be another guy who takes away some playmaking duties. Halliburton climbed up to 86 and a half passes in that last game, and Nemby dropped to 44. I mean, we entered this series looking at the regular season data where the Thunder were like, we got to force Nemby to be the point guard and the playmaker.
Right.
And that carried over a little bit to game one. But then that the Thunder were like, all right, now time to shift gears again. And now Hallie has asserted himself as a scorer. So I think that his playmaking will be more open, therefore less opportunities to pass out for Nembhard. And then it's just the defensive end. Like if you're guarding SGA and you first of all can pick up 5 fouls and sit your ass down at any point because you're getting all those fouls, you're also not going to be in position for many rebounds, right? So just 6.5 rebound chances, still managed the 4 boards in both the last 2 games. Actually had 0 in the first half of the last one, though. So, I mean, some of those is just, again, it's like pretty lucky hit rate in terms of getting those rebounds and assists. And I think you can take the under here. It's only down about 1 from where it usually is in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and like you said, actually the points are a little bit beatable at this point, 10.5 for him. Once we get down to 10.5, I mean, in the playoffs, we've seen him as high as 13, 14.5 points when he goes on one of his streaks of getting 15 plus consistently. And overall, like we've got roughly almost 40 games in the last 2 playoffs of Nemby shooting well. But we only have a few games of him really picking up the slack with the assists. Certainly love adding under on the rebounds when he's guarding the guy shooting probably more than like SGA probably taking more than 20 shots in game 4. I think we're probably in similar agreement there. And with that in mind, even fewer rebound chances for Nembhard, who really has become like they're not putting anybody else on him, especially because they know they need Neesmith to be on J-Dub so much at this point. So yeah, I'm going to be liking that. And I will say, just because I'm on that point, like I do still lean towards the under for J-Dub, for Jalen Williams, in part because he probably will have more Neesmith on him in this game unless Neesmith can't stay out of foul trouble as well. He ended up fouling out in this game, only got 22 minutes. Not as good of defenders now playing on Jalen Williams, obviously built a lot of confidence that way. But let me go to another under. You can tell here, quick pause just to let everybody know, like Nate and I think this game is going to be tighter. This feels game 7-ish in the sense that the Thunder can't afford to go down 3-1. And the Pacers here know that like taking a 2-2, game series back to OKC somewhat nullifies a bit of the work they did to get ahead by winning a game on the road in that first game of the series. So I think they're going to come out strong as hell. And I just think that's going to lead to a few more unders here in this game as well. 225.5 seems pretty close to what it would be, but once again, would lean a bit under on that total. And looking at Chet here, not even touching the points for him once again. They're up at 15.5 for the points, but the RA went up 1, and I'm happy to take that. Very happy to take that. It's still juiced a bit to the under, but here's what I was looking at when I was watching this game with Chet. A number of these rebounds fell into his lap. And granted, 35 minutes, that rebounds is such a minutes based stat, because if you're not out there to get the boards and the chances, obviously you can't get up there. And at the 35 minutes that he played, he could easily play that again if he looks as good as he did in the first half, which I don't know that he's going to shoot 100% in the first 2 quarters. Once again, I wouldn't be banking on that. I would bank on him maybe feeling a little bit better about this series and having confidence. But once we get into the actual stats of things and like look at the numbers and stop talking about the intangibles with the second year player, playing in a finals for the first time, we're also talking about just like not being as good of a rebounder as people might think. His rebound success rate in the playoffs is 52%. That's why you consistently see 17 rebound chances, 8 boards, 7 boards for this dude, right? And 17 is about the ceiling of what you'd expect for him. He's at about 16 rebound chances per game in the playoffs. And then if you look at in this last game, had the 17 rebound chances, 10 boards, that's up at 59%. It's a pretty big jump from what his norms are in terms of his rebound success rate. So that's one part of it. There was a number of long rebounds that he caught as well, guarding Miles Turner out on the 3-point line. Abysmal shooting from 3 for the Pacers, 9 for 27, will definitely lead to a few more of those longer rebounds. I'm not going to bank on the center getting those so consistently the way that he did coming back. And then the assists, way higher percentage on the assists, 3 potentials. That's about what he's going to get consistently. He's actually at fewer potentials per game in the playoffs as a whole on the dimes. He's rarely in position, right? Because they're not running that pick and roll with him very often. Now, granted, he's going to probably get a few more of those looks being out there for 35 minutes, but there's still a lot of ways that you keep him down at 30 and even fewer, like he played in the first 2 games, including not shooting 100% from the field and feeling a bit more comfortable to bring other guys on, right? And so I think as long as we don't get that level of a start from him, then those minutes will be ticked down just a bit. And this 10.5 RA is going to look really, really good by the end.
Yeah, he surprised everybody. I think even the Pacers with how aggressive and how well he played in that first quarter. Certainly made me look stupid. Made both of us look stupid for fading J Dub as well, although he barely got over.
Precisely.
But I think what we're dancing around is we don't think these young guys are going to take it upon themselves to carry the load as much in game 4. It's going to be an SGA game, and like you were saying, you're like, I'm not going to bet 35 plus points though. You can take him minus 300 or worse to be the leading scorer in this game, which just seems like an automatic here after he got outscored by many Mats last game. SGA, I think he's coming right back, and he's going to score. But that means like, yeah, playmaking. I have no problem fading Chet on that. Will the rebounds bounce his way enough for him to get 10 again? I don't think so. I mean, we were saying coming into last game, he hadn't topped 7 in like 7 straight playoff games. So I think it was just a bit of luck, those boards coming his way, and iHeart just getting quickly yanked and not getting another opportunity to impact the game the way he did in those first 2 in the series. I think we could definitely see more iHeart and less minutes for Chet. But yeah, we're going to fade some role players here. Aaron Wiggins at 8.5 PRA when he got exactly 9.7 minutes in game 3. Managed to get 2 rebounds and 2 assists in those 10 minutes, which is quite fortuitous. But I mean, he's not a guy who's going to pile up peripheral stats. It's most importantly, I mean, he was not allowed to take a 3-point attempt, to take a 3-pointer. I mean, he goes 5 for 8 in game 2. Indy's like, no. We know what this guy does. I mean, he's a talented 3-level scorer, but he's not a guy who's really going to burn you if you run him off the line. Similar to Obi Toppin on the other side, who is still struggling to score since his hot start in game 1. Indy chased people off the line a lot in the regular season. And I mean, in the regular season, his last 3 regular seasons games against them, 4.3 points per game. He's a minus 21, and he is 0 for 5 from 3. So I mean, they have done a good job of identifying his personnel. He's not getting the catch and shoot opportunities. He didn't get many in the Minnesota series after doing really well against Denver. He was 1 for 5 total from 3 in that series. And then actually, if you want to just read the tea leaves, is Dagnall going to play him? He didn't play a minute in game 4, in the pivotal game 4 at Minnesota. So maybe he's a home road guy where Dags is like, yeah, he's a guy we're going to, throw out as a weapon there when we're back at OKC, see if he can get hot again, electrify the crowd. Isaiah Joe and him are basically just like toss up as far as like what Dags wants to do, as far as what he sees in their limited stints once they get out there in like the second quarter. And Caruso should really just continue to ramp up. I mean, 32 minutes, give him more. Like he's just been so valuable, and in this situation is going to continue to help the Thunder like stabilize themselves on the road. So I just don't see a ton of minutes for Aaron Wiggins to get over this number.
Yeah, I think especially on the road, unless you think that a blowout is coming of any kind, then like this type of the play is going to be a nice under. Kason Wallace only played the 22 minutes in this last game as well. I can see him eating into that a bit more. Caruso, look, like 32 minutes in this game, that's always going to be a potential issue for him. And then you've also got Dort as well, who, I mean, look, if you want to play Dort a bit more, I think you're liable to. His shooting definitely helps, but he played 35 minutes again. Like it was a starters based game because he liked the way that the starters were playing. And Wiggs has, I'll call him Wiggs, whatever. Wiggs has to do a lot here to get himself up to 16 to 20 minutes. Otherwise, he's looking at 10 or fewer. And I also don't think Isaiah Joe is going to be too ripe for this game as well. I wouldn't necessarily be fading threes. It's all he's out there to do. But I mean, like things like assists or even like PRA. I mean, he had like 8 touches, 2 shots from 3 and 6 points. And those were his stats for this game. So 5.5 PRA, that type of stuff. I'm good with an under. And same look here for Mr. Shepard, who shout out the homie on the live show yesterday, who pointed out that Ben Shepard still had an assist prop that was close to even money to go under. They haven't changed it because what a DraftKings employee is going to the Ben Shepard market and being like, ooh, let me peruse through these Ben Shepard stats and make sure I get this market right. Like Ben Shepard is the ignored market that we can bank on a little bit here because he had 1 potential assist once again in this last game. It was a deep three for, I believe, Obi that didn't go in the corner. So still feeling good about the under here. I think the PRA, which is now at 5.5, is also worth a play as well. well. And just to be cute about it, I'm probably going to parlay like under the assists with under the PRA or something like that for him, because it's minutes. Now, it felt like he was out there for an eternity in this last game. He played 18 minutes. He played the last 6 minutes of the first quarter. And I'm just watching it going like, this under is based on him playing 8 minutes. And now he's playing 6 in the first quarter. What the heck is going on? Well, he got up to 18. And it's in large, almost entirely due to the fact that Nembhard can't stay on the floor because of how much he's fouling. And now Ben Shepherd is the primary defender on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who, by the way, did a really good job overall on SGA. But I will say, in those minutes where our boy Nemby was off the floor, that's when SGA got a little bit more to the rim all the way, as opposed to getting back, sort of bodied out of his lane to the rim. Shepherd not quite as strong as Nembhard, but still did a really good job. Either way, I think 18 minutes is still an absurd projection for the minutes for him. I think if this game is going to be a little bit tighter in just how everybody feels about it, right? I think Carlisle showed how loose he was in this game one, being like, let's get the subs out there, man. We're down 8 and 6 or whatever in the first quarter. Get him out there. Just get Obi out there in the first 4 minutes. Get Mathurin out there in the first 5 minutes. And TJ and everybody else. So I just don't know that you can bank on that being the case for him. So I continue to like the under. He's averaging a potential assist per game, not averaging 1 full assist per game in these playoffs, and has not hit this consistently now in the playoffs. He's actually at a 29% hit rate for his assists. So he has hit an assist in 5 of 17 playoff games this season. Don't know why that would change in the finals where he hasn't had one yet. So I'm still loving this for even money, man.
Yeah, I mean, Shepherd is kind of like the talisman of this magical Pacers run, in terms of like, if I see him hit a 3 down the stretch, I'm just like, you throw up your hands and be like, okay, I guess they're winning the title, because it's just like found money in the couch cushion deep for Rick Carlisle. But otherwise, like he has no business being out there. Like, I mean, other than to play like 5 minutes, like you said, it's like just a slightly different look on SGA. He has no business being out there on offense in an NBA Finals game, because he just doesn't bring that much to the table. But yeah, so zero assists is definitely what we're looking at here.
Yeah, look, we don't have to beat this one to death. It's pretty simple. He no play very much, and he no play very good when he plays. So we can bank on him not being a big part of this stuff as we move forward. But that is all the time that we have for you in this one. Hopefully you got something out of this slightly robust look here, giving you guys a couple more looks than just our picks, so it can help you make your bets as well here on Friday night. Definitely make sure to subscribe. We'll be back here for Game 5, and until we see you then, happy betting.